Good afternoon, I'm Asad Ahmad. Conservative London mayoral hopeful Daniel Korski has denied allegations in the strongest possible terms of inappropriate behaviour after he was accused by screenwriter and novelist Daisy Goodwin of groping her. Miss Goodwin has told a newspaper that she was sexually assaulted during a meeting at Downing Street while Mr Korski was working as a special advisor to David Cameron. With more, here's our political editor, Tim Donovan.
Daniel Korski's campaign has been supported by prominent backers like Cabinet Minister Michael Gove and Lord Lister, former Chief of Staff to Boris Johnson, both at Number 10 and at City Hall before that. We haven't heard from them or indeed any other supporters of Mr Korski, so we don't know what their position is today. We haven't heard from many MPs at all about this so far, but as of now it appears that Dan Korski has no intention of withdrawing from this mayoral selection race. He's up against two other hopefuls who want to be the party's candidate to take on Sadiq Khan next May. He was at a hustings event in central London yesterday but left early just as news was emerging about this accusation against him. Daisy Goodwin, writing in the Times, has named him and said that he groped her in Downing Street after a meeting 10 years ago. He vehemently denies this. He denied it in a statement last night and in an email to supporters, and his spokesman said he categorically denies any inappropriate behaviour. Later on today, he and his two rivals, Moz Hussain, a barrister, and Susan Hall, a London Assembly member, are due to meet MPs in the House of Commons and then later members of the local association. We don't know whether we're going to get any more comment from Mr Korski or any of his team or his supporters later today.
Our political editor, Tim Donovan there. Now, a few weeks ago, we told you about Katie Carr, who was kayaking in Shadwell to complete a challenge started by her brother to kayak in all areas of the BBC Radio 4 shipping forecast. Well, Toby sadly died of liver cancer before completing the challenge, which his sister has taken up. And she's well on the way to completing it. She spoke to Gemma Woodburn about her brother's illness.
Toby was born with Fanconi anemia. One of the things that happens if those patients survive childhood is that as an adult they have more propension towards cancer.
His sister Katie Carr will finish his mission.
Yeah, so this is the first time in this kayak and it's really exciting, at the same time a little bit emotional, because I know that the last person who sat in this was Toby.
Setting out from Flushing, she has 10 areas left of the shipping forecast to kayak. And there was another challenge, Toby's unfinished book.
I found his notebooks and started to realise that with the voice recordings, the photos, I could piece it together.
Variable 3 to 4, fair, good becoming moderate later.
The shipping forecast was something which had real meaning, and he was also trying to deal with the grief from losing our brother Marcus, and he had the same illness as Toby. Toby died of liver cancer, and that was, again, it was a result of Fanconi's.
When we were kids, we were often told that we wouldn't live longer than 30, and the life expectancy is quite short. I think that obviously puts in your mind a sense of determination to try and get the most out of things.
Toby was 40 when he died last year.
So Toby never knew I would finish the book or the journey. He'd just be delighted that his story was going to be told and that people could feel inspired to get outside, to get in a kayak, to even think, OK, I've got a terminal illness or a life-limiting illness, what can I do within those limits? And I think he'd just be delighted.
Katie Carr speaking to Gemma Woodburn. A hospital roof might seem like an unlikely spot for a growing bird of prey family, but the resident peregrine falcons have welcomed 2 chicks and they're preparing to fly the nest. Watching them day to day, there are thousands of people following by a webcam. Conservationist Dr. Sean McCormack told us about what led to the decision to monitor them so closely.
This moment with these peregrine falcon chicks fledging successfully off Ealing Hospital is really important for Ealing and London. Did you see it? Wildlife on your doorstep like this lifts the spirits, you know. It's been proven to benefit our emotional well-being, our mental health, and seeing the community here getting involved and really taking joy from it has just been a fantastic experience. Last year, because they bred successfully here, we decided to put up a webcam so we could watch them raise their family 24/7 this year. It's been amazing to see them raise these 2 chicks. We've had thousands of people watching them every day, all over the world.
Since the webcam has been on these peregrines, it's been non-stop. I'm sorry to say, I wake up, I put it on, I check in before I go to sleep.
Historically, they would have nested on mountain crags and sea cliffs, but they've found our buildings are actually full of ledges, just like sea cliffs would be. So they've started to move into towns and cities. There's a plentiful food supply for them here. The chicks now are 8 weeks old, they've just taken their first flight, and they will gradually learn to become more independent. And eventually, in the next month or two, they're going to strike out on their own and try and find a territory of their own over the next couple of years. So we wish them well, and we hope that we have new chicks next year again.
We'll keep an eye on them. Now, if you like looking like a diva or like seeing others dressed up, London's Victoria and Albert Museum has a display just for you, because a designer of costumes for many divas, including Tina Turner and Cher, is showing off some of his feathers and sequins. And he told BBC London's Michael Mackenzie all about it.
Well, this was an outfit of Cher's, and she opened the show in Las Vegas. And the thing about that is there's several layers there. So like the huge collar with the feathers and the beaded robe that goes over it all sort of come off in layers as she wore them. It's like costume heaven in here. All the diva costumes from the last century or more are here. It's just amazing, an amazing exhibit. Well, you always love that goddess that you don't know, and you know they must be fabulous if you really did know them. So it's a star. It's like a movie star, or a TV star, or a sports star. There's something very special about them. It was funny as a child when I used to see famous people dressed up. I just thought, well, they just come like that. Nobody has to do it for them. They just show up dressed to the nines, looking amazing. And of course, it's a lot more than that. You have to work harder at being a diva visually, always. You have to just be the best.
Bob Mackie there. Now the weather with Kate.
Good afternoon. We started off on quite a cool and fresh note this morning. All that is about to change. Bit of cloud made for a beautiful sunrise. You can see over in Chiswick. That cloud, in fact, is a warm front, and it's been spreading across all parts through the morning, turning the skies overcast. We're going to hang on to the cloud through the afternoon. But what that warm front is also doing is filtering in some more humid air. So it's going to feel quite sticky by the end of the day. Staying largely cloudy, a few bright spells. Can't rule out the odd spot of rain. Temperatures getting up to 23 Celsius. Now into this evening and overnight, we're going to hang on to the cloud, but it may just break in 1 or 2 spots to some clearer spells. Should stay dry, but it is going to stay very humid as well. Quite an uncomfortable night. Central London, for example, not dropping much below 16 or 17 Celsius. So a mild, humid start tomorrow morning. Still quite cloudy, the odd spot of rain, but that cloud should start to break. Some brighter spells, maybe even some sunny spells, but that in turn could spark off 1 or 2 showers. It stays humid tomorrow as well, 25 Celsius, the maximum temperature. Now overnight, Wednesday into Thursday, cold front moves through, and that's going to bring some heavier, more persistent rain as we head through Thursday itself, and it could linger for a while ahead of it clearing towards the end of Thursday, after which the temperature should drop, so getting fresher by the end of Thursday.
That's it for now. Riz will be here at 6:30 on BBC One and the iPlayer. Whatever you're doing this afternoon, I wish you a very good afternoon. Bye-bye.